Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Maya from Bookworm Dreams, and welcome to a new video.
So today we are bringing you our January TBR. We have, let's say, some lofty plans. So hopefully, we read all of these books. So we'll just, start and let you know what we're reading.
Maya? Yeah, alright. So, I've decided, new year, new epic fantasy series to read. So the first epic fantasy series that I'm going to start, it's called Guardians of the Moon by Steven Erickson. So this is part of the Malice at Book of the Fallen read-along that is hosted by Mike's Book Reviews. So basically the plan is to read the entirety of this series, which is to 10 books in about a year and a half or 2 years, because as they go on, they get larger and larger. So basically, I know nothing of this. The simplified version of the summary for this book is an epic fantasy in which we follow the Malazan Empire. It's either Malazan or Malazan, but Malazan sounds stupid, which has been at war for a really, really long time. Its empress is now focused on conquering an ancient citadel, so a city somewhere, and we follow a bunch of characters, soldiers, sorcerers, and something I cannot read what I wrote. But basically a wide cast of characters, typical in a fantasy series, and an epic story fantasy. So yeah, I'm going to try to read the first one, and if I like it, I will continue, and if I don't, I'll stop. So that's my plan for this one. What's your first book you're going to read?
So, my first book and her second book is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So this is a prequel to the Throne of Glass series. And I have zero knowledge of what this is about, so I'll just read you the synopsis in the back. And it says, Selena Sardotian owes her reputation to Arobin Hamel. He gave her a home at the Assassin's Guild and taught her the skills she needed to survive. Arobin's enemies stretch far and wide, from Adarlan's rooftops and its filthy dens to remote islands and hostile deserts. Selena is duty-bound to hunt them down, but behind her assignments lies a dark truth that will seal her fate and cut her heart in two forever. So this is the first book that we are reading for the Tog-along, or the Throne of Glass read-along, and I forgot who hosts this. I think it's
a bunch of people, but Steph Loves Books is one of them, yeah.
Yeah, but we will put all the information down below. So this is the first book we are reading, and the cover is gorgeous. I love it so much.
Yeah. Another read-along that I'm participating in is the Wheel of Time along. I can't say it. Wheel of Time along round 2, which is hosted by Jade from Bedtime Bookworm. Basically, this is sort of a loose assignment to read the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. And the first book is The Eye of the World. Now, when I tried to look up on Goodreads, because I read this when I was in high school, in first years of college, I read the first, I think, 4 books or 5. So when I went to figure out what the first book was about, they said absolutely nothing. So what I remember, it's like a bunch of, they're like nuns, but they're not nuns. So a group of women, sorcerers, are going around trying to find the chosen one, the dragon reborn. And one of them finds it in this little dude called Rand in a village somewhere. So he's the chosen one. So something happens, someone attacks their village, and Rand and his friends from the village go on an epic adventure to, fulfill the prophecy or not fulfill the prophecy, I don't remember. But basically that's how the whole epic story starts. And that's book 1 of The Wheel of Time that I'm going to read in January. Hopefully, yes.
Okay, so the next one I have is Blood Heir by Ilana Andrews. So this is the start of actually a new series in the Kate Daniels world. Kate Daniels is what, a mercenary? No, she's not a mercenary. She's a detective.
She starts as a mercenary, but then opens a PI firm, I guess.
Yes, in Atlanta, and there's magic, there's a lot of stuff, and this new series follows her adoptive daughter,
Ward.
Ward.
They said Ward, but
Ward,
daughter, yeah.
Julie, who is now grown up, and she kind of does her own thing. She has to change her name to Aurelia, and this is the name that is used in the entire series, apparently, the new one. And there is an evil lurking and kind of trying to harm Kate.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes on the hunt and tries to solve all of these murders and protect Kate and the family that she left behind.
And also make sure that nobody knows it's Julie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I know. It's it's released
Did you finish the Kate Daniels series?
No, I didn't.
You should finish the Kate Daniels series before you read it.
Yes. Really?
Something happens that is of import in the last one. So I think you should. I was just thinking about it. Wait, did you finish the? Because there is a whole thing with Kate.
I have like 7 books to read. Okay.
So yeah, let's.
I'm just informing you that I will.
I mean, you can read it, but I don't think you will understand the whole everything, and maybe some things will be spoiled. So
just talk about your book.
All right, next book.
I'm devastated right now.
You can try the Innkeeper series by Ilana Andrews. That's like 4 books, so you can try the first one. It's kind of cool. Anyway, the next book that I'm going to read is Peace Talks by Jim Butcher. Finally, I'm getting to this. I got you bought me these in like November. Right? Okay. What is he doing?
My dog is attempting to do something.
Oh, he's falling asleep on my back. Okay, yeah. Fine. Anyway, this is book 16 in the Dresden Files series. Dresden Files follows Harry Dresden, who is a wizard in Chicago, who starts out as a private investigator, but since this is book 16, the world has expanded, his role has expanded, his powers have expanded. So some peace talks are happening in this one. Not entirely sure because I don't remember exactly what happened in the last one. I'm going to have to refresh my memory. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting to this one. I've been trying to read this in since November, but yeah, that's the book. What's your next book?
Okay, my next book is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. So this is also a new release. This is kind of described as Hunger Games, but with gods. So basically, there's a period of time when gods kind of descend to Earth, I guess, and are hunted by mortals.
Jesus.
And Lore
are there like specific mythology god, like Greek gods,
yes,
Roman gods?
Yes, there's Athena. So what is that?
Greek. That's Greek. Yeah.
And basically we have Lore, who there's some kind of trauma in her past, which kind of forces her to make an alliance with Athena and one of her old friends, and kind of go on the hunt to revenge, I don't know, someone from her family. That's kind of a rough summary that I managed to.
All right. Can I go?
Yes.
The next book I'm going to read, I'm going to focus finally on my Reddit Fantasy bingo reading challenge that I create and start and then I completely ignore until March. So that sucks. So I'm going to read A Baker's Thief by Claudie Arsenal. This is basically a book in which you follow 2 characters. One is Claire. She is a local baker who basically spends her nights going around the town, stealing something called exocores, like a core of... Anyway, something that is used for energy and which is basically created from souls of witches. And Claire has a twin sister, who is a very powerful witch, and she goes missing. And so she sort of starts looking for her. And the other character that we follow is Amelia. She just started with the police. And, I think in the first... I started reading it in the first, 3 sentences. Claire goes to her house and steals her exocore. Okay. So she's, on the trail to find out who she is. But I picked this book because it is for the prompt of a romantic romance
I saw that
or
on
something.
Your Goodreads.
Yeah, so basically there are some tropes that I wrote down, so that could be interesting maybe to you. So we have enemies to lovers, we have superheroes, and we have aromantic characters. So basically it's like subversive enemy to lovers with, a sort of twist with the aromantic character, so to see what happens. We'll we'll see. We'll read. Hopefully it will be interesting.
The next book I have on our list is Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Galey. So this is a story about the American Southwest, but in the future.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it's a Western, but it's like a future dystopian, some kind of, basically in the future. And we have Esther, who is a stowaway, and she's hidden herself away in the librarian's book wagon in an attempt to escape the marriage her father has arranged for her. A marriage to the man who was previously engaged to her best friend.
Okay.
Her best friend, who she was in love with.
Ooh.
Her best friend, who was just executed for possession of resistance propaganda.
Oh.
So
interesting.
I mean, it sounds very interesting to me, and we technically both liked Sarah Galey's The Hippo series, which was really fun, so we wanted to try another of their books.
Cool. And the last book that I'm going to try and read in January is Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. So here it is. So this is basically book one in this is a trilogy, I don't know the name. Anyway, basically I'll just read you what it says in the back. Because in the far future, humanity has left Earth to create a glorious empire. Now this interstellar network of worlds faces disaster, but can 3 individuals save their people? So basically they are like wormholes that you can travel through.
Okay.
And basically they start collapsing and cutting out like different planets from the core, and that's why it's called Collapsing Empire. I started this in which was the September, I think, was the space opera September thing.
Oh, okay.
But I got 43 pages in, and then I stopped. So, but I enjoy John Scalzi and his work, so this should be a quick read, and hopefully I will get to it in January.
Okay, is that your last one?
That's my last one.
Okay, so I have just 2 more books to tell you about. So the first one is a middle grade, and that is Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson. So this is basically a story about 6 kids who kind of get put together to talk about their feelings, what's happening in their life, and just have a safe space to talk about themselves. The so-called a room to talk. It says they discover it's safe to talk about what's bothering them. Everything from Esteban's father's deportation and Haley's father's incarceration to Amari's fears of racial profiling and Ashton's adjustment to his changing family fortunes. So it sounds like it deals with a lot of difficult topics, a lot of current topics. So I'm really looking forward to reading it because I've heard so much praise for this author that I just really want to finally start reading something by her.
Cool.
And the second book I'm going to tell you about is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. So I got this in a book box, and I will put the unboxing up there. So this is the story of a woman who kind of gets transported into an alternate version of her life and remains there for 5 years. And in that version of her life, she has another husband, different things are happening. And after 5 years, she is transported back to her real life and finds out that the man she was married to is actually the boyfriend of her best friend, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is, as I gathered from the reviews, this is more the story of friendship, because she, she has been living a different life for 5 years, a different reality. So she kind of is very upset and has to deal with the consequences of not being in that other life. And kind of getting used to this one again. So it sounds very actually poignant and a difficult read even. But it was in the romance category, for example, in Goodreads, and everybody says this is not a romance. This is more of a fiction about friendships. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Before we end this video, we just want to mention a couple of things. So this year has been very difficult for everybody, obviously, because of the pandemic and everything. Yeah. But Croatia has been hit very hard with a couple of earthquakes that have caused a lot of damage even in the capital city and in the city of Sisak and Petrnia, and all the other small villages and areas around the epicenters of those very, very powerful earthquakes. So down below, we will put a link to a page where you can inform yourself on what's happening, and if you can, maybe help in any way you can by sharing the information and just getting familiarized with what's been happening, because we want to help as much as we can. And if you could check them out, we would be very appreciated.
And I would like to say to any of our creation viewers, if you have been, hit or like just felt the earthquake, we like offer our, not condolences. What is it? Sympathies. We understand. We've been hard. For me, I literally cried the last time it hit because I was so scared. So, all of your feelings and everything are valid, and just take care of yourself, and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to say, because I was really shook up by it. So.
Yeah, I was. The first one was very scary because nothing like that has ever happened during our lifetimes anyway. The second one, that was actually kind of closer to us than the first one, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, not again. But as time goes on and there are many earthquakes happening, but not that strong, I've been getting kind of more desensitized, and I can see my mom jumping out and my sister jumping up and to stand under the whatever, and I'm just sitting down waiting for it to end. And
that's really good. I've literally had I call them ghost trembling.
Yeah.
Because literally I would lie on my bed and feel the bed trembling, although there's nothing happening, there's no earthquake, but I just feel it because I was in my bed at the time of the first one. So hoping that stops soon. Yes. So
if you can, just check out the links down below and help in any way that you can. So.
Yes. Please like, share, subscribe.
Yes. Comment down below if you're going to read any of the books that we are going to read this month.
Press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos.
And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video.
Bye.